Hey folks, Andrew Bobros here. Well, I want to do a quick video. We did just sign a tackle today. It came out of nowhere. I didn't really expect that to happen, but we did just sign somebody today. You might be asking yourself, well, Andrew, who did we sign? Okay, let me get to it. Alex Leatherwood. Yes, the Alex Leatherwood from the Raiders. That was not good. So just hear me out. There's a lot to discuss here. So Chargers signed former Raiders first round pick Alex Leatherwood, started 12 or 17 of 21 games. Played the Raiders and the Bears. I think he's actually on the Browns, most notably. But very interesting conversation. I think, again, clearly this is a competitor's welcome type of conversation. But, guys, let's get into it.
Bull Bros!
Okay, folks, as always, like and subscribe if you do enjoy the content. I'm Andrew Bolt Bros. So, yeah, clearly competitors welcome here. I'm going to sit back and say that, I don't know that Alex Leatherwood's going to move the needle. I don't know if he's the guy that's going to really see any play time this year. I do think our offensive line is actually fairly good. But again, clearly this is a cheap pickup, somebody that can step in and who knows, push some of these veterans, right? Again, you're moving, potentially moving Pipkins to right guard. How is that going to play out? We'll see how it goes. But, let's see if this guy can actually make the squad. But let's talk a little bit about his college career and, why he was such a big pickup. And I'll tell you, he was huge. This guy was gigantic, right? Again, a lot of people criticized the Raiders for, I remember the draft. Everyone's like, what the hell? Why are they picking him up? But he was 17th overall in the 2021 NFL draft. Played right tackle, and then they moved him to right guard very quick. So that begs the question, where is he going to play with the Chargers? Your guess is as good as mine. Probably not right tackle. As we know, that's going to be Joe Alt's position. But most likely right guard is going to be there to, maybe push, Pipkins, right? So we'll see what happens with that. But again, there was a lot of people that, really criticized Josh McDickhead, for, doing the move very quickly. He was part of the whole I think actually it was John Gruden who scooped him up originally. And, there's just a lot of weird things that happen with this guy specifically, right? But again, in Alabama, this guy had a stellar college resume, right? Unanimous All-American recognition in 2020. Jacobs blocking trophy, Outland trophy. I mean, this guy was supposed to be the next big tackle in the NFL, and he just didn't pan out. I mean, he just didn't, huge dude. Huge dude. Just, you could sit back all day and criticize his handwork, his footwork, all the above. But, he's also on a couple teams that didn't have the best coaching, right? I mean, we all saw what Brandon Staley did with a lot of his players as well. They weren't good coaches. Now he's on a team that has good coaches. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm very curious to see what happens with this guy. But, and again, and such is the story of NFL players. I mean, I've been watching the UFL, just highlights. I'm not watching these games live or anything like that, but I'm watching these UFL games, and all of them are ex-NFL players, ex-NFL players, ex-NFL players, and it gives them an opportunity to go play. And look, at the end of the day, guys, it's one of those situations you have to ask yourself this question, right? Did they just go to the wrong scheme or wrong coaches, or did they get on the bad side of the coaches? We all know Brandon Staley had his favorite players, and this guy could have just been, put baby in a corner. He didn't play out well, yada, yada. But I remember they tried to trade him away. They couldn't trade the guy. There was all these things that were happening. It was really interesting. And then Josh McDaniels, a.k.a. Josh McDickhead, horrible. I mean, they basically just waived him, right? And then the Bears picked him up. You see the picture of him in his Bears uniform at this moment. But again, did not play a lot, right? 17 out of 21 games. But again, really eventually was left. I think Leatherwood played 32 offensive snaps for the Bears in 2022, and he did not make the Chicago 53-man roster last year, and that was in 2023. So it was pretty frustrating to see what's going to happen with that. Now, again, the interesting thing is that he was underneath Bill Callahan in Cleveland, right? And we all know Bill Callahan is one of those guys that he's sort of a legendary offensive line coach. Never saw the field, right? Cleveland actually, I don't believe, had a lot of major injuries on their offensive line last year, if I remember correctly. But again, he's going into his 25th season, and the Chargers hired ex-assistant Mike Devlin as their offensive line coach. He's tasked with continuing Leatherwood's development, right? So Did he learn anything from Bill Callahan? How is he going to do underneath Mike Devlin, right? The nice thing is it's going to be adding a lot more depth to this team. Again, let's just go through the offensive line as it stands right now, right? You have Rashawn Slater, left tackle. Left guard will most likely be Zion Johnson. And then we have Bradley Bozeman as our center. And then most likely it's going to be Trey Pipkins at right guard. Now, again, the argument could be maybe they're not liking what they're seeing with Trey Pipkins at right guard. You bring in a guy like this. He's a very inexpensive signing. Work him out, see what happens. And maybe he does a better job than Trey Pipkins at right guard. This guy's a freaking behemoth of a man, dude. Like, I mean, goodness gracious, dude. I mean, literally like a giant. So my point is, he's a big man. You can get this guy to work well, maybe move him to right guard and then have Trey Pipkins be on the bench. Maybe we trade him away or something else, or just keep him as a depth piece. But, where does Jamari Salyer go? We all know that Joe Alt's going to be the right tackle. So, but again, it allows a lot more flexibility. And then, then you got Jim Harbaugh. But again, it looks like, Foster Sorrell, Brennan Hymas, Jordan McFadden. Those are the other people that are going to be available to be put in. And I also do think, again, the offensive line room is going to be, interestingly built out. But again, guys, this is not an earth-shaking, pickup. I mean, let me just wrap up the video here. This is not an earth-shaking. This is not huge. This is not huge news, right? I mean, literally, there was no news about it. All of a sudden, I just saw on the page, Chargers picked up, this guy Leatherwood. And I'm like, oh, God, okay. And I remember this guy, and holy cow, But I'll just say this. This is his last chance to probably be in an NFL uniform. I think clearly the league has forgotten about him to some degree. But, he's got an opportunity here to, maybe impress Mike Devlin and this team and play a physical brand of football. Maybe that's what he needs. Sometimes, change of scenery is a good thing. So, look, huge pickup, not at all. Probably a very cheap pickup, probably a conditional, hey, if we like you, we keep you. If we don't like you, you're gone. And we'll see what happens. But again, guys, depth piece. Folks, as always, Andrew, Bolt Bros. See you guys in the next one.